Let AJ Doman Chevrolet be your one stop for all your business needs in 2025. Whether it's a service body, a flatbed, or a chassis for a custom upfit, we got you covered. And we know time's important, so we have a large selection of work-ready trucks on hand. AJ Doman Chevrolet, servicing the area for over 35 years at the foot of the Morgan City Bridge in Berwick. AJ Doman Chevrolet, your business elite dealer.
All right, welcome back. A memorable 3 days, to say the least, and we see people creeping up Main Street. That's the way you do it, folks, because there's ice on Main Street. There's ice everywhere in the parish and all the parishes around us. Joining us now is Clyde Hamner, who's a councilman here in Terrebonne Parish. Mr. Councilman, good to see you.
Good morning, Martin. It's nice seeing you too, buddy.
You been cold lately?
Just a little bit, just a little bit. I'm telling you, it's nice to be out the house. I appreciate you inviting me on. I needed an excuse to get out the house, and being cooped up for 3 days, actually 4, because we started prep on Sunday and Monday. It's just nice to be out and about now. Yeah. Hey, I drove all the way from my house, which is right off Savannah Road, downtown. The roads look good. I don't know if it's just the natural melting or if the parish has finally gotten some crews out to push it aside. In areas that, I can tell it was pushed aside, the snow that was on the road, because you had little mounds.
Right.
In other areas, you still got a few little spotty areas.
We showed yesterday, Mr. Councilman, Jay, maybe you could pull up some of that footage. I know Dwayne just got a drone shot of them pushing ice off of the Dularge Bridge. So if you have that, we could show that. But I know Tommy Boudreaux and his crew, his sons, and everybody else were busy.
Look, Tommy's been doing a good job. Mr. Boudreaux has been doing a good job, and working all kinds of hours, strange hours, to keep, just to make things safe for people. I'm glad we got him as a contractor for the parish, because that man really does a good job for us.
His heart is in it, man. You can tell people.
He loves this parish. He loves this parish. You can tell people when you talk to them that if it's everybody wants to make money and everybody wants to have their jobs, and we want to make money here at the TV station, but at the same time, we love our parish. Yeah, this guy really loves Terrebonne Parish. We're lucky to have his heart and soul's into keeping it up, and he's not looking for the profit. His profit is in what he can do for the parish.
He's done a lot of things for free, and April keeps him grounded. I want to say that on live TV. Yeah. So she's going to send me. I guarantee you, she's going to answer me within 10 seconds with a little, emoji, and but of course I'm having fun with it. But I also saw some DOTD scrapers. I saw some parish units around different places. So. What are you seeing, and is the communications up to par with the parish? I'm hearing different things, but I'm not one of those to go crazy. I'll let everybody speak.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, thank goodness we got Robbie Lee, our communications director, working for you. He's done an excellent job keeping the council informed while Jason's away out of town this week. I'm hearing my phone beep right now. I would not be surprised if it's Robbie sending another text, or another
Robbie
graphic
called me
for us
last
to put
night,
out.
and he's a communications guy, but I know communications people can only do so much. You got to get everybody else to participate when you're doing it. But he's very passionate about what he does.
He is. And of course, let me say this. I don't want to sound overly positive. I'm speaking from the vantage of District 6. We have pretty good infrastructure, and we had minimal problems. We had problems, but they were minimal. Electricity was probably the number one in my book, and gas, the utilities. One area in Sugarwood had gone out at 4 o'clock on the Monday evening, and
friend of mine texted me, said, do you know when Entergy is going to get it back on? And I said, let me make some calls and find out what's going on with that. And they were out there almost immediately, though, Entergy. It was a transformer that had blown. But then, once they got it fixed, she was all excited, texted me, saying, hey, look, the power's back on. Thank you for whatever you did, which really I didn't do nothing but make a phone call. And lo and behold, while she's texting me, it went out again. Mm-hmm. But I just texted her and I asked her how the power was over there. If I can find it. Martin, I don't like phones.
You're just like me. We just tolerate them. That's what we do. Your phone's like mine. Ding, 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 ding. Just.
Oh, there's another one. Let's see. Let me read you the good text, and then I'll read you the bad one. After I look it over. I texted her. Good morning. Just checking on you. How's the power over there? And she said they worked hard yesterday. They finally changed out the transformer. They stayed till almost 10 p.m. last night. This is in Sugarwood, and Entergy, making sure that their job was done right. I let my, and then she paid me a compliment. I'm not going to read the compliment.
Yeah, well, you do a good job, Clyde. Let me ask Jason, who's on? Oh, we have the parish president on. Can you put it in the studio while we have Councilman Hamner here? He could hear the conversation. All right, so let me know when you get it up, and then I'll put the parish president on. Are we ready, Jay? Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure that you get to participate since you're here in the conversation.
Yeah, hoping Jason's getting us some money.
Yeah.
We can use it.
All right, Jay, are we lined up here? All right, here we go. And we have the parish president of Terrebonne Parish, Mr. Jason Bergeron. Are you there, sir?
I am. Can you hear me?
All right, yes. Clyde, can you hear?
Barely, but I heard him. Yeah. Maybe. Hey, Jason, how's it going over there?
Good, sir. Just had a good meeting with the Speaker of the House. So.
All right, yeah, we talked with the parish president. I got Councilman Clyde Hamner on. We've been having a lot of people coming in and out of the studio, but just go ahead and tell what's the situation now, and what you take in all this, and maybe you can enlighten us on. Have you been able to get us billions of dollars for Terrebonne Parish at the same time?
So, the big issue is water right now. And, I know the water district has had to make some tough calls, but it's a situation that if they don't close off some areas, the whole system's lost, and we have much bigger issues. And so I know they're out and about doing assessments. They've identified about 7 or 8 major breaks, and they're going through and doing that. They have to do locates, and they have emergency locates. So hopefully all that whole process begins. But he's thinking about this time tomorrow, things hopefully will be returned to normal in a lot of places. And so we're just making sure we do everything to give them access to the areas that they need so they get water turned back on. We are telling people, if you got water leaking, turn it off to your house. I know that we have first responders and those about in our communities that are already going out, and if they see something leaking, they're turning it off to the house, because that's going to be the point that's going to continue to be the issue. But they are working very hard to get that restored. We are actually going to open our offices back up tomorrow. As we get off a call with our team, and so we're going to be moving forward with that. And we know, hopefully things start getting back to normal. A lot of the roads are being cleaned out. Our public works team has done a great job in getting that done. And the bridges, as of this morning, didn't ice back over. So, again, we're still doing work. We still got a lot of things going on. A lot of things need to be fixed and worked on. So we just ask that people, try to be cautious and try to be understanding. And if you don't have to get on the road, continue to stay off the road, because it does start slow down progress. We are going to start trash pickup for Friday pickup tomorrow also. And so that's kind of the major things that we're dealing with at this time, along with trying to make sure that we have water, both from a fire perspective and from a drinking water perspective, into the areas that are turned off right now until they get those repairs made.
So let me ask you, because this has been an unprecedented event. I mean, I think, I told my sister in New Orleans, and I think they got a lot less than we did. I said, Amy, I'm pretty sure at my house I got 12 inches, because I measured right in the middle of the flatland. And she goes, come on, more than 12 inches. And I saw the official reports are 11 to 12 inches now, but some got less, some got more than that. So this is something.
We had at least 12.
You had 12?
That way. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was thick.
Yeah, I mean, this is, we were whited out here on Main Street for probably 5 to 6 hours. And, you know, which brings me to the other thing, that there's so many things we've learned from this. And I know that you and several others, I mean, it's no secret now that y'all went to Washington, y'all been in meetings, and I'm fair with everybody, give everybody a chance. And I know you've been sort of working the parish from over there and trying to meet with some key leaders over there. So let me give you a chance to take that and explain to us what's going on and how are the meetings going, and are they successful over there right now?
Yeah, well, you know, we're having conversations. The two big conversations are offshore revenue sharing, so that we can get more funding to do more coastal work, and FEMA, right? They hadn't picked the director yet. They're doing something what they're looking at called reconciliation, which is an opportunity to cut costs, but at the same time make sure there's money in the right places. And so the time to have those conversations is now. And so me with Speaker of the House, Majority Leader Scalise, all the legislative leaders, FEMA, Corps of Engineers, you know, just all those different groups to have every conversation we can about, you know, the biggest impact is the flood insurance, right? And what that means, and can we get a stay? And you know, we're in lawsuits with FEMA, and we're going through letters of map revision to try to get the FEMA flood maps adjusted, and just everything we can to push on the plight that is affecting our residents in Terrebonne Parish. You can't have enough of those conversations. And so as they're doing appropriations and those kind of things now, we're in their ear and really setting policy at the nation level with Louisiana having leaders like we do in the right positions, really looking to change the landscape of what it looks like with FEMA and what it looks like with, again, trying to get more revenue sharing so that we get more funding for coastal protection in Terrebonne Parish.
And I guess the timing of all those meetings sucks, because if everybody would have had a crystal ball to see the amount of snow that's been falling on Terrebonne Parish, it's historical to say the least. But I know I've never seen it in my lifetime, and I probably won't see it for the rest of my lifetime. But were you surprised at the amount of snow that you've been seeing in Terrebonne Parish?
Yeah, I mean, it's across the board. I mean, this is a 135-year event. 1800s was the last time you had anything of this magnitude. And essentially, because the running joke has been Trump just got in office and he already solved climate change up here is what everybody's kind of saying. But, you know, again, we're doing everything we can to make sure our residents do not miss a beat. Again, every kind of access you can imagine, including radio with police officers and everything. And we're having it's on the phone and text messages all day long, and making sure our teams have everything they need. And I got to give it to our team. Our team, you know, I'd put our team up against anybody in the state. I felt like you've seen that, right? You've seen what we did in Francine. You see what we're doing this post-snow. We're going to have a majority of roads open up. You know, I know we're dealing with some water issues. But again, this is a 135-year event. And when you look at the situation we're dealing with, the last time we probably dealt with an event like this with water was fire. Right, and so they got to stop the bleeding, and you know, if we don't you know, shut down blood to the foot, we lose the whole body, and unfortunately, as us being in these positions, we got to make some tough decisions. But we're doing everything we can to give waterworks the support they need, and just trying to make sure that the message is getting out, and that everybody knows as much as they need to, when they need to, and then what other support services and opportunities that we have. And again, I can't speak enough about how hard our team has been working to make sure we don't miss a beat.
I know Mike Sobad is going to be on here in short order to explain what they're trying to do, and I know that whenever a parish president, we've been getting a lot of texts, and maybe you can answer this from your standpoint, and maybe Clyde, you can answer. What is it? When are you coming back? Because does that 72-hour provision take place? Because I know that when the parish president, I've dealt with this probably 3 times, I guess, in my 40 years, but I think it's a 72-hour provision. Will you be back before the 72 hours, or when do you plan on coming back? And has there been conversations in that manner?
Had any conversations, you know, when you look at some of these ordinances like they are, a lot of that was created at a time when you didn't have communication and opportunities like you have now, right? So there's nothing that's not happening because of what it is. And if you look at it, I'd be snowed in for majority of this. And so you look at that process, if there's something not happening and there's a problem with something, we are taking care of everything we need to take care of. And I'm having consultations with Carl, and he's been, getting that information down to the rest of the council as the chair does. And so as far as I can understand it, see, everything is running like it needs to and like it's supposed to be. And we're doing everything we can to take care of our residents. Yeah,
just to answer, maybe Clyde, you can pitch in on just to answer some of the calls we get. That might, things evolve as you go through governments, and communications is different today than it was when HTV started in '85. So is that something that you look at changing, and readopting some of the language on that?
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it. The Home Rule Charter has worked since 1970s, and right now, with Jason out of town for the required 72 hours, Carly Harding, I guess you would call him acting chairman or acting parish president. But I spoke to Carly early this morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock this morning, and he's in constant communication with Jason while Jason's in Washington. So I
think that's what the parish
these little black
president is
boxes
saying,
that we carry
the
around.
communications is there.
Yeah, the communication is definitely there. I know Kim Chauvin down, because they got major problems down in Chauvin in that area with the water and some electricity, the roads, the bridges. And she has picked up the phone. She told me several times Jason's answered every time. Luckily, I haven't had to call you yet, Jason. So,
we've exchanged some text messages, though.
Yeah, we did text back and forth. Because I was supposed to be in Washington. I'm supposed to be on an airplane right now, flying to Washington. I had some appointments tomorrow, but thanks to United canceling all the flights for today and not being able to reschedule me at an adequate time, I've canceled everything to stay here. Jason got lucky and he got to get going, but everything we do as councilmen, we do it on the phones,
So y'all all link together and do different things.
Yes. We stay in constant contact. Some of us have little 2 or 3 text messaging group. We have whole council groups, just to keep each other informed, not to make decisions, because you can't do that. That has to be done at a full council meeting, but just to keep each other informed.
Right.
So I'm satisfied with the way things are going right now with this state of emergency that we've been in. To answer your question, yes.
And that's why I wanted to open it up for the parish president and for you, since you're sitting here to talk about, because we get a lot of texts. But let me ask you this. Let me switch gears. So from let
me say this real quick, Mark,
okay, go ahead.
On just the communication level. And when you look at tech, right, I'm a tech guy. Well, I have a radio that I'm actually monitoring police and fire communications. The radio I have with me that works off a cellular service. So you want to talk about a level of communication that I can actually hear what's going on with our police department, the fire department, everything that they're dealing with. That's the level of communication that we're having inside our parish.
Well, that's come a long way. I remember when we had beepers and everything else. Let me ask you this, Jay, from a standpoint of strategic, now that Donald Trump has been elected president again, what are the meetings like over there, and are you sensing that there's a positive spirit that maybe we could get some money for infrastructure? And say like Mike Sober, if he comes on in a little while and says, "Boy, we could sure use an overhaul in our water system," are you hopeful that may happen?
Well, we've already done some of that stuff. So one of the crazy things that I learned when I got into office was there's a group called the Delta Region Authority, and it's a pool of money that deals with water and sewer. For some reason, Terrebonne Parish and Lafayette Parish are the only parishes in the state of Louisiana not in the DRA. Well, we had Congress people help make that happen. And so we're having conversations about, what does an executive order look like that stops risk rating 2.0? There are conversations about giving a tax credit with risk rating 2.0 to offset the income. Offset the charges of flood insurance. What can we do to expand that into a homeowners? And look, the conversation I've been having for almost a year or two now has been that disaster insurance conversation. You're hearing that on every meeting I've been in. I've heard a conversation about of adjustment from just being flood insurance to more of that disaster insurance, or it being more of an underwriter support program. And so, again, these bills are happening right now. This reconciliation bill that they're talking about, they have to have everything in for the beginning of March into February. And this reconciliation bill, again, if we end up with the rise and breeze information, which is the offshore revenue share, right now we only get 35% when the rest of the states get 50%. If we could bump our share from 35% to 50%, we take that funding and put it directly into coastal protection and restoration. And so you're talking about some changes that are happening now that we're involved in those conversations. And, one or two people separated from the president with, again, the House leader, Johnson, with Scalise, and just, sitting around with other parish presidents up here right now. And we have more of an intimate setting because Les made it up. But, we're sitting and having these conversations, and I actually stepped out to make this call to say, our residents of Terrebonne Parish need help right now. We can't wait for a tax incentive that is going to be maybe in 2026. We got houses that are property values are dropping, and so they hadn't named the new FEMA director yet. So we're trying to get an understanding who that's going to be and what conversations we have to have and what meetings we're actually having now. We're having meetings with FEMA and with, again, like I said, Corps of Engineers of what can we do now? And the problem, when you look at the fact that we're trying to do this CLOMER, which takes the data since 2018 and puts it into the flood maps, that they're saying that process can take 18 months. We're having conversations with people that can make a difference in saying, well, that's not going to be 18 months. We're going to make that maybe 3 months. And so the sooner that stuff happens, the sooner there's an opportunity to give some economic relief to our residents. And that's why I made this trip.
All right. So you say, and hopefully Clyde's licking his chops. He wants some more money for his district.
Jason already knows what I want.
We're having those conversations too, where, whether it be CWGDR, and we've talked about that process, the fact that FEMA doesn't get involved until the insurance is done. And they talk about how the limitation with the CBGR funding, here we are going to get, we're going to get these projects kicked off 3.5 to 4 years after IDA passed. That the HUD is the reason that's taken as long as it is, because that money comes from HUD and goes into the state. And the fact that it takes as long as it does, and the conversation of the stuff that North Carolina dealt with, the fires that California is dealing with, it could be the catalyst that makes the change to that disaster.
Well, I'm hoping what happens to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, that they could rename FEMA, because FEMA has a bad connotation with it. So maybe something a little more upbeat, if they change it, might do everybody a little bit better.
Well, it's interesting we talk about that. So the Gulf of America thing's in play. I think they have 30 days for the state.
Yeah, they do.
But Clay Higgins wanted to call it the Gulf United States of America, and the acronym would be Go USA. That's pretty good, actually. But,
that's pretty cool.
But so it's been those conversations, and we have Higgins that's taken over for us. They're going to be setting up shop in the Whitney Bank building, along with where Mike Fazee is and Kennedy is, and so. Again, it's just really working on, everything's about, all this is all about relationships. It's about getting in a room, having conversations to fix issues. And we're having issues. When you look at the different parishes that we're here with, we got Lafourche hasn't accepted their flood maps. You got, I learned with St. Charles Parish, they've accepted or went through the process of going to accept. They submitted information for the LOMER to change the flood maps, and nothing happened. So we could spend, we're looking at probably between the three parishes, we spend anywhere from $3 to $4 million to give FEMA data so they can update the maps, to have St. Charles Parish go through that process, and nothing happened, right? So that's what we're up here working on changing, is that, number one, we shouldn't be spending money that we could put in roads and bridges on trying to get FEMA to get the data that should be there already, right? And so those are, the conversations we're having that says, our residents relief, we need to make sure that we are aware of every grant program, and if it doesn't fit in here, these teams, these Congress people we're working with and their staff, they know, look, well, let's take this issue we got when it comes to striping our roads. Well, that is this bucket of money, and use this bucket of money for it. And so just working through that whole process And again, I got to give credit to our team because I've seen some conversations or been in some conversations where some other parishes are struggling with some of the funding that we've already taken advantage of and already reaping the benefits of. And so it's just going out and finding those other buckets of money to make sure that we do everything we can to get, our sewage issues fixed, our drainage issues fixed, our road issues fixed, everything that at the end of the day causes our residents grief and pain.
All right. It was good chatting with you, Mr. Parish President. We'll continue to cover the melting snow. Hopefully it's the last major day of it, but y'all stay safe up there in Washington, and we'll chat when you get back.
I don't know if I said or not, but I want to make sure we are getting our offices back in operations tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to work with, of course, residents that are our employees that are dealing with water issues and ice and everything, but we're getting back to operation in the parish tomorrow for our parish offices. And so, again, if anybody needs anything, keep following our Facebook page as we release our updates. Definitely don't hesitate to give us a call at the office, and we'll do everything we can to make sure our residents are safe and taken care of.
All right. Thank you so much once again, the Parish President of Terrebonne Parish, Mr. Jason Bergeron. Stay safe over there in Washington.
Take care, Jason.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. So
while y'all were talking, got some updates here I could give to your listeners. Dealing with Waterworks. Waterworks is slowly opening lines as pressure builds back up and they repair the lines. De-icing is continuing. Highway 24 corridor is open toward Thibodaux. They're currently working on Bayou Blue and Gibson. And it's, and then it's cleared to Cocodrie. The motor grader is on the east side and on Prospect right now. They're trying to get the bridge tenders back in at 12 noon today, depending on water pressure. Dulac Pontoon looking at being the last bridge back up. Buildings are being assessed today and checking for leaks. Shelter is being moved and is currently underway as they're getting ready for a wedding. That's the homeless people.
all right. Well, just keep me posted during the day if you know. If you get some good stuff and we need to put it out, and I know we're gearing up. I'm gonna get the crew to check to see if Mike Sober is also here.
Posted that we need to remember about the Madison and Humboldt Canal bridges. They are state bridges, but should not be forgotten about. And Dave, Robbie responded to him. Robbie Lee, the communication. Dave and the crews. That's Dave. Rome, David Rome.
Yep, does a great job.
Another tremendous asset to Terrebonne Parish, the Public Works Director.
And I'm sure David Drury's been checking all the buildings and everything.
David Drury, his whole staff has been doing a lot.
Ernie Brown, A+, huh?
I give Ernie Brown an A+ too. You know, I sent him a list of 20 light poles that were out between 311 and St. Charles. They were just completely out. Hadn't been, some of them out for a long time, and I sent him a list that they weren't City of Houma. They were Entergy and Sleeka, and only one of them was City of Houma, and he already had the work order on that one. But he sent me the list back, identifying each one as to whether it was Entergy or Sleeka. I was able to get with Entergy the next day, and I rode with Paula Rome through the district, and we got every one of them with work orders on the list to get turned back on. Doesn't always happen that quick and that easily, but
kudos to you too. I know you don't toot your own horn, but I watch you over the years. You'll go get it. You get it done. So thank you for what you do.
I try. All
right, keep it rolling, brother.
All right, Martin.
All right, we'll take a break. That's Clyde Hamner, our councilman here in the area, and we will be back with more. We're trying to get Mike Sober on to talk about some of the major, I guess, problems or hurdles that you have to jump through in times like this. So that would be a good education process for us. So we'll be back. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barca Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.